another Ask Sandy video. Thank you guys so much for sending these questions my way. A lot of you guys have been sending these questions, especially since the last Ask Sandy video. Definitely make sure to check it out. Keep the inquiries coming my way. You can send them to me at asksandy@yahoo.com. That should show up right over here somewhere, okay? And we're gonna go ahead and get going with this particular question. You guys already know I just pretty much do one question at a time so that I can devote whatever time allotted in this camera to answering that one question, all right? Let me know if you guys have had this experience before so that maybe this individual who sent this inquiry in may get a little bit of advice from you guys, because I may not have dealt with this particular experience, but maybe someone else can chime in and kind of give their viewpoints and opinion as to what they did, all right? So let's go ahead and get started. Here we go. Let's see. I'm going to start off here. Okay. So I have a question I would like your opinion on. I've been married for almost 13 years and we have 4 kids. Our marriage has had its ups and downs over the years, as I'm sure all couples deal with. Well, recently we've been arguing over something stupid, as me not wanting to have him get a motorcycle that added another bill. He still got it anyways against my wishes. Well, I've noticed he's been a little bit more distant. So I decided to check his phone, or decided to check our phone records, and notice one number that comes up often that he talks to for long periods of time. I asked him about it and he got defensive. So I told him that if he didn't tell me, I would call the number. Well, when I called the person never answered the phone. So I looked back at our records and noticed that when I had told him I would call the number, he had called it before me, and I assumed that person got told that I may call, okay? Well, my question is, in him being defensive, he stated I was childish and why a woman would do that. That was, of course, typo. And why a woman would do that. Would you have called the number if you got the same response? Then what should you think or do afterwards, okay? And of course, all of these that I get sent are anonymous, all right? Of course, I don't know the entire scenario. I don't know exactly the nature of your entire 13, I believe, year relationship. You do have 4 kids, and obviously you guys are married. I already know all y'all listening to this scenario already see the red flags that I see, because there's a shit ton of them, okay? First of all, you already know. You're going to know your significant other. You're going to know your mate, or whatever the case. You're going to know if there's some changes in behavior. You're going to notice if there's changes in the way that you guys interact with each other. If communications, if communication between the two of y'all slows down, or if you guys seem to argue a little bit more than usual, okay? Or you guys argue about shit you guys wouldn't normally argue about. So those are some signs that something's going on. That's number 1. But then you brought it to their attention that you noticed this behavior, okay? And that there is a phone number that you kind of saw on the records, on your phone records, that person seems to call a lot, that your husband seems to call a lot. Once that conversation was had and the opportunity was presented to that individual for them to have been like, you can call that motherfucker, ain't nothing going on. And they didn't. Instead, they turned that shit around on you. That right there is a big ass red flag to me. Look, if I see a phone number on the phone records and this mofo been on the phone with them longer than they need to be, and then on top of that, when I done told them I'm finna call the number, then they try to turn it back on me, and then on top of that, I call the number, they don't answer, to find out that when I check phone records again, that my husband or significant other, or whatever the case, done called that number right after I said it, had a little conversation with whoever it was on the phone. I'm gonna be a little salty, and it's because the behavior don't match. I mean, it don't make sense. It sounds shiesty. It sounds like there's some shit to hide. Whoever's on the other line, I know the first thing I would think automatically by default is he's got a side bitch. It looks shady. That being said, I know you asked what I would do if I was in that particular scenario, literally right then and there. And if I was literally right then and there, and I went to my husband and I was like, look, I see this phone number in your phone. You've been having an awful lot of conversations with this person, whoever it is. What's going on? Who is this? I don't recognize this number, or whatever the case. And they tried to reverse shit and put it back on me. The first thing I'm trying to do is call the number right away. I'm not even gonna let them know. And if I do let them know, it's gonna be right there in front of their face. Right there. We're gonna be right here. Motherfucker, give me your phone. And we're gonna call the number right now. We're gonna see who this person is. I wouldn't want to give them time to be able to shuck and jive and do anything to try to change the outcome of the situation, because I would want to be able to catch it, whatever it is, right then and there, okay? Without any forethought, without them having to plan anything, without them being able to block anything. I want to know now, and that's what I would want to know, because at the end of the day, if something like that is going on in an outside relationship, they've got someone on the side, or whatever the case, y'all are in a relationship, and in a marriage, not just a relationship, and you have 4 kids to consider. Now that you already know there's some behavior, on top of the fact that he done, he's making decisions financially that the both of y'all should discuss, i.e. the motorcycle. That's not some cheap shit, okay? A motorcycle is an additional expense, whether it's the purchase of the motorcycle or the bills associated with the motorcycle or both things. But that's something that collectively as a unit, you guys are supposed to determine and make the decision on together, whether he is the main breadwinner or not, because you guys are both in this relationship together and y'all have 4 kids, okay? So that in and of itself, I'm not a big fan of either, and that's definitely something that relates also to communication between the two of you guys. I don't know if it's something that just recently came up. It sounds as though this is something that maybe before wouldn't have been an issue, but now it is, okay? That he may not have made that decision or that type of decision before, but because you seem to see some behavioral changes, that this is just one of the many behavioral changes you've seen as of late that's made you go to the extent of looking at the phone records, okay? But look, don't tell him what you're doing. You need to do some research and see what's going on. I don't mean go hire a private detective or a PI or whatever the case. I don't mean go out of your way. Don't put your kids in harm's way. You almost have to play it cool, but I really would want to make sure if this is something you want to know, okay? Truly want to know. If you really want to know what's going on, because some people just would rather not know, good or bad, you need to do your research. But you need to do your research, and it's almost a chess game. It's almost you got to be strategic, okay? Don't let him know what you finna do, okay? If you want to know what's going on, if he's been acting kind of funny, I'm not saying go follow him, but you do need to find out if it's something like that. You need to find out what's going on. And if he's not being forthcoming with the information and he's going to keep trying to put it back on you, that's suspect behavior to me. Okay, now I'm no psychotherapist, no psychologist, psychiatrist, or whatever the case. I'm just giving you my personal opinion based on what I would do if I was in that exact scenario. You know your husband, okay? You know your husband and you know how that person is. And if there's some funniness going on, it's probably a good idea for you to find out what's going on, whether it's an external relationship or they are just going through a phase or whatever the case. But do it carefully. Whatever it is that you decide to do, you need to make sure it's strategic, make sure it's planned out, and don't give him any reason to have any kind of planning in advance. Don't give him a heads up of what you finna do. Just be strategic. I'm not trying to start no shit, but my thing is you have kids, okay? So if anything, do your research. Find out what's going on. Talk to him, okay? Before anything. It may be a situation where maybe he's feeling some kind of way, okay? And they don't know how to tell you, okay? It may be something where you may be able to get it out of that person. Whatever the scenario is, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be cheating, okay? But it sounds like cheating behavior. Again, don't put your kids in harm's way. Don't put yourself in a situation that could put your whole family in harm's way. And don't give him a heads up, okay? Just strategic. Be strategic and don't do nothing cray-cray, okay? Because that's still your kid's father, your husband. I'm assuming your kid's father, your husband, or whatever the case. So just be strategic, but talk to him first, because it may be something where they finally break down and just let you know whatever it is, okay? I hope I was able to help you out. I know there's only so much I can tell you based on what you gave me, but I hope and I pray for you that everything works out. And you guys, if you guys have anything you want to add to that, please leave that down below. Be respectful, please, because obviously these scenarios are sensitive to the person who sent me the email, and obviously they sent the email because they do need advice and they need some assistance. So if you guys have been through this scenario, please feel free to chime in, but be respectful down below. All right? So that's it, y'all. I hope I was able to answer the question to the best of my ability just based on what you gave me. Of course, if you guys have any additional things you want to ask me, you can hit me up at AskSandy@yahoo.com. And you already know what to do. As always, follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/SocialiteSandy. Of course, hit me up on my Facebook fan page or Pinterest page. Those links are also down below, as well as my blog, TheSocialiteLife.blogspot.com. And I'm on Keek and on Instagram as SocialiteSandy. And you already know I love y'all. And I will see y'all in the next video. Love y'all. Bye. Go ahead, Juice. Go ahead.